How to deal with financial overwhelm, how to deal with the financial crisis that you could be in due to COVID and the lockdown. That's what we're talking about in today's video with my very
Welcome to
special
the Wealth
guest,
Nation
Rabbi
podcast,
Daniel
a
Lapin.
podcast for every mother, daughter, grandmother, sister, and wife, and the men who are smart enough to tune in. The Wealth Nation podcast brings you all you need to know about investments, business, property investments, personal finance, and all-around financial wellness. Here is your host, Yolanda Rose.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Wealth Nation podcast. I am Yolanda Hari Prasad, wealth advisor and wealth coach, and it is my goal on this platform to give you easy, actionable tips, content, and strategies that you can use to manage your money well and to build generational wealth. The Wealth Nation podcast is sponsored by Financial Success Summit 2021. I am getting the top folks in their industry, from a property to Bitcoin to formal investments, banking, short-term insurance, budgeting, all of the tools, all of the tips, all of the tricks, all of the strategies that you need to break free financially. I'm getting all these folks together in one virtual room that's happening on the 17th and 18th of April 2021. So if you want to get tickets to this event, go to the website. It's www.financialsuccesssummit.net and buy those tickets. Tickets are selling for just 99 Rand. And if you use this coupon code for a limited time, you can get early bird tickets. So go and shop for tickets. You're going to get a 60% discount and pay just 40 Rand for 2 days of power-packed financial advice. Use coupon code early bird at checkout. And if you don't already know, I am hosting Financial Success Summit 2021. Tickets are available in the link down below in the descriptions. At this virtual summit, we have some world-class speakers such as Rabbi Daniel Lapin, who's going to be speaking to us about ancient Jewish wealth building strategies. Greg Jabesi, who's going to be showing us the future of cryptocurrency in Africa. Silindile Lasinyani, who's speaking to us about property investments. And Kantha Naika, who's going to be sharing how we can keep hold of our hard-earned money and not lose them through the taxation system. So if you want to know more about those topics, click the link down below and get your tickets. You do get lifetime access to all of our training material, including those trainings from our high-quality speakers. I spoke to Rabbi Lapin recently, and we spoke about the current situation. People are struggling with finances due to the lockdown, and the stress is there. And if you want to know how to survive this period, how to come out unscathed, so let's jump into that interview with Rabbi Daniel Lapin. Well, thank you for your time, Rabbi.
Great pleasure. I'm really, really excited to be standing together with you on this.
Thank you so much. So we know the world, it's a bit crazy. We're hopefully we're coming out of this pandemic, and a lot of folks in a state. A lot of people lost a lot. And how do they recover from that? How do they overcome that overwhelm that they might feel with in terms of their finances?
You know, the crucial thing here, I think, is to focus not on all the ways in which things are now different from the way they were, a year ago or 3 years ago, or whatever date you want to choose, but instead to do some serious thinking about all the ways in which things remain exactly the same.
Okay.
People still eat.
Yes.
Nothing's changed.
Okay.
People still need to move around, whether it's from home to work, or for family reasons, or for health reasons, or for business reasons. But whatever it is, people still need to get around. People still need to put on clothes every morning. And I could go on and on and on. And it's a worthwhile exercise because you used a very good word a few minutes ago. You said mental overwhelm.
Yes.
And I like that word because it's a reality. It's something we are all susceptible to. And it's something that we must pull ourselves out of. I've never walked on a tightrope in a circus, but people who know how to walk on tightropes have told me that when you look down,
Yeah.
that's the worst thing.
Okay.
You must look at the end of the rope. You must look to see where you want to get to. And I remember when I learned to ride a motorcycle in Johannesburg many years back,
Yeah.
I remember my instructor telling me, when you're going around a curve, don't look over the edge at the drop off on the side. Keep your eye on the end of the curve where you're going to come out of the curve and straighten out. And the lesson in both the tightrope and the motorcycle is the same. And that is that we have an almost mesmerizing tendency to look in the direction of calamity.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that generally we head in the direction we are looking at. And so at these times, it is so easy to think of ourselves as, on the tightrope, just about ready to fall off, or losing control of the motorcycle through the curve and running off the side and down the cliff. In reality, it's important to remember how normal things are. Yeah, I'm not diminishing the problems,
Yeah.
but the point I'm making is that anybody who has lived a few years has lived through more than one crisis in their lives.
Yeah, of course. So there is a light at the
And
end of the tunnel.
the crises come and they go. And while there's a crisis, people are still eating and still getting dressed and still getting on a bus and still making money.
Of course.
When wars break out, the same thing is true.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And the bombs are falling and people are dying and it's horrible. But there are still the people who keep their eyes on the end of the curve
Yeah.
and
Of
they
course.
continue to function. So we've got to focus on how normal everything is. Not
So
to diminish the pain, not
yeah.
to diminish the suffering that many, many people have experienced, but to realize that for your benefit, for the things you need to get done and the things you need to achieve, namely increasing your revenue or income, you've got to stop focusing on the calamity unless they're particular opportunities. I mean, I know somebody who made a great deal of money importing masks, medical masks.
Yeah, I do the same
Obviously,
actually. Funny
good
enough.
for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, one must see the opportunity that every circumstance
All right.
brings.
Of course. Of course. But we find
I
that,
know people.
sorry, go on, Rabbi.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I know people who are making very good money by teaching kids. They've told friends and neighbors, send your kids to my house every morning for 4 hours, and I'll cover English and mathematics with them.
Okay. So it's about
And these are not
being
they're not
normal as
trained
much as we
teachers.
can. Yeah.
And so people see opportunity,
Mhm.
and the important thing is not to be overwhelmed. Your word, mentally overwhelmed. No, um, normality is the order of the day, and our job is to find ways to serve our fellow human beings.
Yeah. And we find, I think the entire world has taken a huge hit financially, and people are losing houses, losing cars. How can they overcome this sort of new debt crisis that the pandemic has brought on?
It depends obviously on um, how seriously impacted somebody is.
Hmm.
Um, but the uh, the first thing we all have to do is stop negative cash flow.
Yeah.
So if our income was impacted, so obviously we've got to start working on rebuilding and exceeding. We've got to work on that. We've got to be realistic about the time that that could take. And in the interim, we have to cut expenses so that we don't continually descend. So if that means I have to sell my car and use the bus for the next 6 months, great. That's what I got to do. If it means that I have to move out of my apartment and move back with my parents for a few months and pay them some rent, whatever's necessary to do to cut costs.
Okay, so cutting costs is the
So
first bit.
got to cut costs while simultaneously we're focused on building revenue.
Okay. So moving on to revenue, how do we increase? I mean, here in South Africa, a lot of people had to take pay cuts. Retrenchments are huge. How do we increase when things are just being so tight for everybody? Nobody wants to spend. Everybody's trying to conserve what they have because we don't know what tomorrow holds. How do we go about increasing that revenue?
Okay. The again the first I always focus first on the things that you should not do, and then the things that you should do.
Okay.
Because the way the good Lord created us human beings, we function better by stopping the destructive behavior before we start the constructive behavior.
Yeah.
And so if I'm going to lose a few pounds of weight, which probably wouldn't be the worst idea in the world,
Yeah.
then obviously I should start a regular exercise routine.
Yeah.
But what are the things I should stop doing? I should stop eating too much. I should get out of my habit of eating badly and too much. Because as long as I'm continuing to eat badly, deep down in my heart, I know that going to the exercise routine and going to run or going to the gymnasium, I realize those things aren't working because I'm still engaged in destructive behavior.
Okay.
And so number one is to stop the destructive behavior. Number two is embrace the constructive behavior. And so the destructive behavior in the context, I was talking before about cutting costs, of course, but in the context of what you and I are talking about at this moment, which is increasing revenue, the destructive part of that is to focus on what I want and what I need.
Okay.
That's not how the world really works. Because nobody cares what I want or what I need. People are only interested in what I can do for them.
All right.
And so to give you an example, somebody comes to my company to apply for a job, and I interview them, and I might say to them in one of my questions, I might say, what are the things you really enjoy doing? And that's really a trick question.
Okay.
I know it makes me sound very mean, but if you answer that question,
Yeah.
I won't hire you because I don't really care about what you really like. The only way to answer that question is for the person to say to me, Rabbi Lapin, I'm here interviewing with you because what I really want to do is come and work in your company, make your company more successful, and make your life less stressful. That's what I want to do. That's the only correct answer.
So it's about making other people happy or serving them in some
exactly.
way.
And the trouble is,
Yeah.
And you know this from the people that you counsel and the people you advise,
Yes.
and that is, we when we're stressed, as many people are, when we're stressed, we all have a tendency to focus on the things that we need and the things we want.
Okay.
And it's a big mistake, because you don't get a job that way and you don't start a business that way.
About wanting something.
Um,
All right.
somebody um, somebody was consulting with me a few months ago, and she said, she said, all my life I've always loved thick New Zealand woolen sweaters.
All right. That's-
And so
Mm.
I've started a business, where I found suppliers in New Zealand, and I'm going to import woolen New Zealand sweaters. And I said, so tell me again why you're doing it. She says, because I've always loved sweaters. I've loved these thick sweaters. So I said, let your ears hear what your mouth is saying. You starting a business because of what you want.
Yeah. Not
You have absolutely no idea
what others
what
want.
other people want.
Mm. Of course.
You have not even done a survey to see whether people where you are wear those sweaters or are cold or would like warm sweaters. You don't know anything. All you know is what you like. The world does not care about what you like, what you need, or what you want. If all the people in the world were only your mother, then that would be fine, because your mother cares about what you want,
That's
but
true.
nobody else does.
Of course.
So, uh, so the negative, destructive thinking, and I cannot sufficiently stress what a huge, monumental, transcendent transformation this brings about in your life. If you can start getting yourself wrapped around the mental concept that this is not about what you need, what you want. Well, you might say, well, what are you talking about? I need more money. That's why I'm listening to you. That's what this whole discussion is about. How can I not focus on what I need? I need more money.
Yeah.
And the answer is paradoxical and true. And that is, if you focus on the money, it never comes.
That's true.
If you focus on serving other people, the money comes by itself.
All right. So that, I guess, the key to starting anything, I mean, business wise and career wise, is basically to find a need that others have and try and meet the need, even in whatever circumstances that you're at. And right now we're
And by the way, even if it's a need, even if it's a need, even if it's a need that others are filling,
Mm,
you may be able to fill it more efficiently or more effectively.
yeah. So I think everybody needs to basically regroup and take ourselves out of the equation and learn to serve others, I guess.
It's important. Somebody might come to me and say, I'm going to start a jewelry store in the Sahara, let's say the Kalahari. I'll
Okay.
start a jewelry store in the Kalahari Desert.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't make
And
sense.
it's going to be, I'm saying, why are you doing that? He says, because there's no competition. I'll be the only supplier of, I'll be the only supplier of jewelry in the entire Kalahari region. And I said, look,
It makes
you
no sense.
know,
Yeah.
um,
There's nobody there.
I don't know Johannesburg anymore, because I haven't been there for many years, but
Huh?
there used to be a part of Johannesburg where there was a jewelry district
Okay.
where just a lot of jewelry stores all gathered.
I don't know
And
Johannesburg at all, so I couldn't help you on that one.
but in many cities are like that. So in New York,
Yeah.
the whole of 47th Street is not dozens of jewelry stores, but hundreds.
Hundreds, yeah.
Now, you think about this, this is the very opposite of starting a jewelry store in the Kalahari Desert.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody says, should I start a jewelry store in the desert or on 47th Street, New York, where there's already, 300 jewelry stores? The answer is you go and do it
In New
on
York.
47th Street. What, is there room for another one? Sure, because you will find your niche and your customers. And if a customer of yours comes and wants something you don't have, you'll send him to somebody else on the block, because you know that tomorrow that person will send a customer to you.
Yeah.
And so we focus very much on serving others, and you don't necessarily have to come up with an idea that no one's ever thought of before. It's fine to put a jewelry store on 47th Street.
Okay. All right. That's been interesting. Now, you're one of our key speakers at Financial Success Summit in a couple of weeks.
And I'm very honored. I'm really very proud of that.
I don't know. It's the first time I'm doing this, and I thought that I've been following you for years, and you just dish out value every time you speak. And I just wanted South Africa to know more about some of these secrets from the Bible that you're sharing, ancient Jewish wisdom that you're sharing. I think as a country, we really need it right now. Even with or without COVID, we were in a storm, and COVID just amplified that storm
Yes,
for us. And
that's right. Yes,
something
that's
different.
right.
We can't go back to the same old, same old. We need to start changing our mindset. And I honestly feel that you're the guy that can be that catalyst for us with the secrets that you have.
I intend doing exactly that.
All right. So we will see you next week on Financial Success Summit. So that was my conversation with Rabbi Daniel Lapin. And if you want to hear more from him, more wealth building strategies, how to get your mindset right, and learn how the Jews did it back in the day and how come they're so successful with money, he's going to be teaching us all of that at Financial Success Summit. So just a few days left. Grab your tickets before they sell out.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to visit our website at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com and sign up for our free investment masterclass.